It's starting the book of Shmuel, Samuel, and the truth is, it's a very interesting character because Shmuel is approximately, he will anoint two kings, both Shaul, the first king of Bnei Shul, and also the second king, David HaMelech. What will happen though is Shaul will reign for 2 years, and then David will take over. Now, David is, if I remember correctly, will not Shmuel will not see David to take over. I don't believe Shmuel is there in the time of David's taking the actual reins, even though he does do it. So Shmuel will die at age 52. So we are within 50 years of crowning a king. It's not going to happen until he's older, but the point is that he's the last of the judges. There's no longer judges after him. His uniqueness, I'm giving you the heads up before we start, his uniqueness according to the scholarship was that he was the only judge who would go around Israel and and be the national leader, as compared to the other judges that we had. They would be very local. The ones would be in Dan. We're in Dan. Shimshon never left. I don't think ever dealt with more than Dan. And then you have Ehud and the other ones who dealt with their people, and that was it. But Shmuel actually goes around. And when it says that Shmuel's children did not follow his ways, that would be already the second book. I'm jumping the gun. But when it says they didn't follow his ways, it was meaning that they didn't go around to the different towns. So not everybody got to know the children, and therefore they considered the children corrupt and so on and so forth. But that is who Shmuel is. Shmuel is also, we say it every Friday night, that he is equal to both Moshe and Aaron. Now, when it comes to prophecy, it's impossible for anybody to be at Moshe's level. We said that the Torah says nobody will ever be at his spiritual level of prophecy. So we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with, again, the people loving him and so on and so forth. That fact that he was the guide to go around. That's how most people interpret that. Okay, now let's start. That was the introduction. Shmuel Aleph. Again, we're in chapter 1 and verse 1. Vayihi ish echad min Ramatayim tzofim mehar Ephraim. So there was a man from Ramatayim and Sophim from the Mount Ephraim. Ushmo Elkanah ben Yerucham ben Elihu ben Tochu ben Tzuf Ephrati. And his name was Elkanah, the son of Yerocham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tochu, the son of Suf, the Ephraim. Now, what Rashi will quickly say is, why do we have to say it was one man? Everything goes according to the order. Moshe's Masar et the Torah to Yeshua. Moshe gave the Torah to Yeshua to the Canaan. Yeshua gave what he learned from Moshe. This is all from Pirkei Avot, to Zaken, to the elders. For Shofet Masal, the Shofet, and one Shofet would give it over to the next Shofet, Ad Sheyagia LaEli, till it actually reached Eli. Mimenu the Shmuel, and from Eli to Shmuel. Kamosha Shaninu Uzakanim the Neviim. As it says in Pirkei Avot, it went from the Zakanim, the elders, to the Neviim. So according to Rashi, there's no skip here. It's going when it says from Moshe to Yeshua to the Zakanim to the Neviim, since Shmuel is considered also a Navi, a prophet, it went from the Zakanim because it went from Eli to Shmuel. Min Ramatim Sofim Shtei Ramot Hayu. There were 2 Ramot, he said, Sofot Verod, and said that the people would see each one. Okay, then Sofim, also the Yonatan, Targum translates that as from the students of the Nevi'im. Okay, Elkanah. Now here's the important. Here's the key point. Elkanah was a Levi. We said Elkanah is coming from Ephraim. And he was, that right? Ben Suf Ephrati, the son of Suf the Ephrati. So Rashi says, how can I be an Ephraim? He was a Levi. So it says, but what happened is, Bnei Aviyasav ben Korach, because he was from the children of Aviyasav, who was the son of Korach, and that's how the genealogy goes in Divrei Hayamim. So if that's the case, what does it mean, Ephrati, from Ephraim, or the Ephratite? How do they translate that? Ephratite? Ephraimite, sorry. Yeah. So it says, B'Torah, the Beit Ephraim, that he was living in the mountain area of Har Ephraim. That's all. Ephrati ben Paltrin of okay. So it's Adam Chashuv. The point is, he was living in that area. That's how Rashi explains that whole situation. Okay. Now the Malbim starts, and he says there was one man. Yesh Hevdil ben Shekatuv vayiish mehar Ephraim. There is a difference between when it says there was a man, like it says here, there was a man from Har Ephraim, Vayiish Levi, and also it says in Shoftim, we learned this before, there was a man, a Levite, Ubein Shekatuv Vayiish Echad. As to where it says there was one man. Shemora Shehu Miyuchad Le'ezer Davagadol. Because when it says there was one man, it's coming to teach us that he was singled out for something important. Like it says in the Midrash Rabbah, where it says that there was one great man, and there was one man from Tzara. Shimshon, that would mean that he's specifically going to be the one that's going to beget Shimshon. Upo hayamiyuchad the whole ledet Shmuel. And here, why is he one man? Because he's going to be the father of Shmuel. So that's what I have to say. Vayiish echad. Min ramatim sofim who was Shem mishpachat Suf. Sufim was the family name, Suf. Shavotav shel Suf Zakano shel Shmuel. The father of Suf is the grandfather of Shmuel. Who hayam Har Ephraim, and he was from Har Ephraim. Shesham hayu arei levim livnei Kahat. Because that was one of the cities of the Levium from the children of Kahat. So, and there were 48 cities that the Levium had spread throughout Bnei Yisrael, right? There were 6 cities of refuge. Altogether, though, there were 48 cities that the Levium would live in. And so, where he was living in Har Ephraim, Min Ramatim Sofim, or Min Ramatim, that would be in that, even though it's in the area of Ephraim, it would still be the city of the Levites. But Suf v'no halchu mehar Ephraim, so Suf and his sons went from Har Ephraim, v'nityashu b'shnei Ramot, and they lived in the Ramot, shayu shnei makomot nikra'am b'shem Ramah, smuchim zeh, and it was called this place because there were 2 hills next to each other, v'al shemam karu lim kamot, he'ela haramot sofim, and that's why the place is called the Ramatayim, the high place of Sofim. Again, I don't know how they don't even translate. Okay, so but it means roughly more Haramot Sham Yashvat Sofim, the hills where the Sofim live. And by the way, if you want an updated thing of this from TV lore, Walton's Mountain. Right? It wasn't Walton's Mountain. Oh. It's a mountain that the Waltons lived on. Right? They didn't own the mountain. They were too poor. They had a truck, so they couldn't own the mountain. V'gam hayu b'nei Levi, and also they were from the tribe of Levi. Asher hayu tzofim marod Elokim, and they were the watching out. In other words, they would see the visions of Hashem. Kedir Chachmeinu Zichron Levracha, like the rabbis explained, Sha'amdu Yisrael Matayim Sofim, that they explained that from Israel there's 200 Sufim seers, I guess you would call it that. Umichlal Bezer She'ish Haya Min Ramatim and the Sufim. So we're also hearing that this man was from Ramatayim and from Sufim, Ratzli more Mishpachot Suf, like you said, the family of Suf. Ushmo more Elkanan, and his name was Elkanah ben Suf. Ki nityachsu al Suf rosh mishpachav makomahu. His genealogy goes back to the head of the family in that place. Ki harosh shekodem suf lo noda b'mkom alehem, because the head before tzuf was not known in those places. Ki tzuf haya harishon shenata lo shama, because tzuf was the first one who pitched his tent there. Behei yedua shem echad. And how do you know that? Because it was a hey yedua when you use the hey, so that makes it a done deal. It was the first one. Kamishpat Lashon Moresh Shanas at Chana Kodem, and like it says, he married his Chana to begin with. V'haita Techila Achap in the Nesua. She was the first one he married. V'achakach Nasa. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Sorry. I knew something was not making sense. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed a line. That he was Mishpachat. He was in that place. Kerosh called him Kitsufay Rishon. Okay. Oh, so that's why it's called Karat Suf Ephrati. That's why it's called Suf Ephrati. Ya'an ki mehar Ephraim, because he came from Har Ephraim, Mount Ephraim, and that's it. So now you understand why the name Ramat Sofim, but really, again, the main point is that Elkanah is a Levi. So what? In second, okay, everybody good with that? V'lo and Elkanah, he had shtei nashim, he had two wives. Shem ha'achat Chana. The first one's name was Chana. Shem ha'shene Penina. The second wife's name was Penina. Vayhi Penina Yiladim. Penina had children. Ulachana in Yiladim, but Chana had no children. And Malbim explains right away. He says Shem ha'achat Chana. B'mash lo amar shneihem behei ha'yediyah. Since it didn't say both with the Hey HaYediyah. This is state Nashim. So then you know Hashem Ha'acha Kemishpat of the Rishon. So the name of the first one, by law or by judgment, would be teaching that he married Chana before he married the other one, and then he married Penina. And Vayistaku Divrei Vizal, and Kisha'ah Shirata Chana Ki Akarahi. And what's going on? Why did he marry Penina? Because when he saw that Chana wasn't having children, Yatsa Oto, so she counseled him. Vayikach at Penina Aleh, and he married another woman, namely Penina. Ulati Baneviman. Again, she's following the ways of Sarah, of Rachel, and so on and so forth, other women who said, if you marry somebody else, maybe I'll be able to have children because of that merit I'm giving to somebody else to let you fulfill the mitzvah. But he wrote Salamar, and so it was, in other words, one say, V'kol zeh haya Penina Yiladim, so Penina did have children, Agam Shahaitam Ocheret Minesua, even though she was last to be married, she still had children, and the Ulachana, and Yiladim Gam Achreit Nesue Penina, even after he married Penina and she was having children. Nevertheless, Chana is still not having children. So it seems, by the way, it always works like this. It seems it didn't work, right? And here, Hagar, when Sarah told Hagar, Avram to marry Hagar, he was only, what was the age? He was 89? Something like that. He was 89. It would take her another 11 years to have children, something like that. So even though that Hagar was bouncing him out, having children and not having children, whatever the case is going to be, but she was pregnant, she miscarried, then she had another one, but she was making fun of her mistress. You had also, when it comes to Rachel, she gave over her maidservant. She's having children. She doesn't have children. So, it's not a magic formula. That's the point. If you're doing it, the Shem Shemayim, and that's what we have to assume all these women were doing that, because why would you bring another wife into the marriage? You're bringing competition to the world. You don't want competition. But they did it because they were saying maybe in the merit of bringing them in, so I will have it. Doesn't always work that quickly, if at all.
It suits her name. Chen is beauty or charm. It's
right.
And would be woman of great charm.
Right.
Favor.
Good.
These names really have a lot of meaning, like Shmuel.
Shmuel, God listens.
Shmuel,
Right.
the name or the sign of God.
Right. Or, is that also from Shmuel, Hashem listens. From Shema.
Oh.
Right.
Interesting.
It's not, there's no I in there, but they make the,
Huh.
they make the midrash.
You can really get an insight into their character from
Correct.
the name.
Correct. Okay, let's go on. So Gimel. Now what happens? It sets you up. He has two wives. V'yala ha'isha hu me'iro miyamim liyamima. So this man went up, that man went up from his city from year to year, lishtachavot, to bow, lisboach, l'Hashem sefakot, and to offer sacrifice to Hashem, Lord of hosts, b'Shilo, in Shiloh. V'sham shnei b'nei Eli, and there were the two sons of Eli, Chafni u'Pinchas, Kohanim laHashem. They were Kohanim to Hashem. Now, if I had a music video going on right now, you would have heard dun 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 dun, because these are not the best guys in the world as compared to Chana and so on and so forth. You know, you would have Elkanah's da 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 da. He's walking along. He's a very nice guy. And same thing with Chana. Then again, Peniel dun 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 dun. You'd have a lot of music going on here. So Malbim says that do I want to do him? No, let's go with the Malbim. Malbim is easier on this. So so the man went up from his city. Sefer, he wants to say Shmeir hazot lo Allah shum ish l'shilo rak ha'ish hahu. From this, what the verse is pointing out is Elkanah is the only one from his city who was going up to Shiloh. Imagine you have this whole Jewish city of Levim, and then you have other people. He's the only one going up. And why is he the only one going up? So he says, with all his children, he went up with the whole family every year, to bow down and to worship. And later on he's going to say to worship himself, because originally he went up to bow, and really that meant to daven for Chana, because they would pray. The normal way to pray would be in a bowing manner. And that's why it says to give sacrifice to Hashem Sivakot, Sha'al Shem Sivakot, Hayum Chavanim, Shayum Palim Alavanim, because there the name of Sivakot, he would have the intent that they would daven for sons, like our rabbis explained. As she says, from all the hosts that you have created me, in your world, is it so hard for you to give me one child? Okay, by the way, if you want to know where Tevye got his famous speech from, this would be the character she's probably copying the most. You know, I heard some internal plan to give me a son. What's going on? You have all these hosts that you're having, and what's wrong with me? So the shame, and then it says the two sons of Eli. What's going on with them? Why we introduced them so early? And so Malbim explains, Hu tam l'marak hu levado ala me'ir l'regel. They're the reason that nobody was coming to the regel, to bring sacrifice to Shiloh. Meishiv ki amayu nimnaim az me'alot l'regel. That it explains or it answers that the nation they stopped coming to go up to Rosh Hashanah for the regalim, for Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Why? Mipnei shebnei Eli shayu lim shimsa b'nei ha'am, because b'nei Eli were disgusting in the eyes of the people. Uvezeh sefer gam v'shvacho, and this also tells of Elkanah's praise. Sha'af al pikein, that even though they had a horrible reputation, lo nimna mehu mi'alot miyamim yamim v'natal sicha keneged kulam. He didn't stop from going up from year after year and giving reward keneged for all of them. So now, but what you're seeing here, by the way, is an important thing. Why don't people go to Shul? Not really. Why don't they go to Shul or in any church in the other worlds, or whatever the place is going to be? Why don't they do it? Because what happens is they don't like the rabbi, they don't like the priest, they don't like the imam, they don't like what he said. I'm not going to go. You're disgusting. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So as a result, instead of looking for a different shul or a different church, well, actually that's actually why they do go, because they usually go to a different church because they didn't like the rabbi, or a different church. They usually go to a different shul because they didn't like the rabbi. Go to a different church because they didn't like the priest, or whoever it's the father, whatever it's going to be. Minister. Thank you. Or they have a fight with somebody, but that's a side point. What we're looking here is leadership. They don't get along with the leadership. They don't like the leadership. The leadership has a bad reputation. So if you have a bad reputation, by the way, they're not so wrong, because it says in halacha that if the Talmud Chacham is a disgusting fellow, you're not allowed to learn from him. So even a guy is, he's knowledgeable, he can quote you left and right what the Gemaras are arguing, and he's a tremendous person that way. If he doesn't have the midot, if he doesn't have the proper character traits, you're not allowed to learn from that person. So here, even if they were doing the job right, which they're not, by the way, we'll find out. But even if they were, it wouldn't be something that the people would be allowed to do. But worse is it's the only game in town. It's either that or idolatry. So people aren't going. And as we learn from the duties of the heart, Chava Levavot, once I stop doing one thing, it's not so long to get to where I finally don't do anything. Right? Once I remove myself, so I'm going to remove myself. So that's why at the very beginning we're hearing about this person who's a Levi living in his place from his father's suf. They're doing all these things. He marries 2 wives. The first one didn't have a child. The second one has children. And now he goes year by year by year. By the way, why is he going? Because he wants to daven. He wants to daven on behalf of his wife to have a child. So he's going. That's what you can always say. When there's no atheist in a foxhole sort of thing, where he has that. But what the Malbim is also saying, and nobody's really disagreeing, is that he's doing it l'shem shamayim. He understands what he's doing, but he is also doing it to show that this is what we should be doing. We can't let the clergy stop us from doing what we should be doing. Even if we don't respect them, we have to still do what's proper. And that means you have to go up to Shiloh and to the Mishkan and to bring in proper sacrifice and to daven. Again, Eli's a nice guy. The father's good. So again, the kids are rotten. Can't do anything about that. Dalit. Vayhi ayom. So it wasn't that day. Vayizbach Elkanah, and Elkanah gave a sacrifice. V'natan lefnina ishto. He gave to his wife Penina. He gave of it, I'm guessing, ulechol banev v'nodem, and he gave to Penina, his wife, and to her children, and her sons, and her daughters, portions. Ulechana, and to Chana, his favorite wife, his first wife, yite mana achad apayim. So he gave her twice. They put it twice as much. It's 2 times. One choice portion, fine. Okay. Because he loved Chana, Hashem sagar rachma, and Hashem closed up her womb. Now, again, this sounds very familiar to the other stories, right? When it comes to Avram, he loved Sarah. When it comes to Yaakov, he loved Rachel more than he loved Leah, and so Leah said, I am a hated wife. Penina doesn't necessarily get into that I'm a hated wife, but it because he loves Chana, so he's trying to give all these things to Chana. And so Malbim explains, Vayhi so it wasn't that day, which means Kishabah Yom, when he came that day, Shuhu Yom Mu'ad, Hayal Elkanah Zavech Shamim, that was a day that Elkanah had set aside to slaughter the peace offerings, Be'inan Zavicha B'Sha'ad Simcha, because when you slaughter, there has to be a time of Simcha, of joy. So what does he do? So you give to Penina and her children portions. De'ein Simcha Ela B'Basar. Okay, so vegetarians around the world and vegans around the world don't like this line. There can be no Simcha without meat. Straight out thing. You have to have meat if you're going to have joy. And so the man and the wife are going to have joy because he's going to give them meat. Yes. Okay. Who wouldn't like a nice steak? Okay. But that is what's going on. It's really the other line. The other part of the line is Ein Simcha El Babasa V'Yayin, with white meat and wine. By the way, it doesn't say chicken. It says meat. So that's for all the meat eaters out there. Okay. Ulachana yitain mana achal. But he says, so she says he gave her one choice. They're translating choice piece, but again, a payim really means from panim. Oh, a face. Okay, that's what again. Yeah, a payim from the lashon panim. Okay, choice piece, fine. So the Chana he gives. So Radak explains the name of his father. Sharat Shlimot Shemana Hayazu. That this portion was given in sadness and anger, because he showed himself sad, and upset because he couldn't give her more. And he wanted that this peace would make her, happier. But it just caused a lot of angst. If on the side of Elkanah, because he was so sad about it, he couldn't give him more. Because Hashem had closed up her womb. And also no safe and also it was also great distress because he loved Chana. So since he loves Chana and Hashem has closed up her womb and Penina has children, he's trying, when he gives her the stuff, he gives it to her with a look of pity. That's what they're saying. So it makes her more upset. Okay, and so it's a I don't know if they say it in English. What do they say here? Yeah, it says here in number 4, one portion anger. For example, Elkanah gave her a portion anger since he had loved her and she had borne him no children. That's on page 5. Okay, so it's two things going on. So so now we're on Vav. Now it says her rival would frequently anger her. Her ima because of her because no type of anger here. He would anger her in order to make her complain. So ki sagar Hashem ba'ad rachma, because Hashem had shut her womb. So here we have the tzarata. What's it? Tzarata. That's the Eishet Bala. Why? First, how they translate the tzarata? Her competition, rival. So tzarata, it comes from the word tsar, which is bitter, narrow. When you have a second wife, I should say, when you have not a second wife, a sister wife. What do you call that? A partner wife? No, it's 2 wives. What's the wife called to the other wife?
I don't know.
A co-wife? What do they call them in in a Mormon country? Co-wives? I don't know. But when you have two wives, so the first wife is always then wives are going to be in competition for the attention of the husband. That's what they're in competition for. So as a result of that, they're called Sarah. Each one's Sarah, as they're each one's torturer, if you will. They're competing with each other. That's why he's calling them rivals. So what did this wonderful rival do? So it says, so also he says not only was anger on the side of Elchanan because he loved her and Hashem had shot up her womb, but also this was from the side of Chana. Why? First reason, because her rival wife made her angry. So that woke up part of her anger, and also the anger from the side of herself that Gam Cain caused Bavor Hirima because she was complaining, to give her complaint. Because she was always complaining that Hashem had shut up her womb. Umilad har'ama hu mako mehifel hirim shalafan kivarvi arna kimidei bo'am lebeit Hashem haya kivaton lishtachavol lepil al shivkot Hashem echana. We already explained, he said, that it was when they came to the house of Hashem that they would always daven that she would have children. Ulechein. So now whenever they came back, they're always remembering, it's a constant reminder that she doesn't have children. That even after the prayer, she still doesn't visit. In other words, Hashem still didn't remember her. So now her tzara, this Penina wants to, her kavana is to anger her. Why? And let's go to the next line, Zion. We're going to answer the why pretty soon. But why is Penina being so cruel to her sister, to her co-wife? And so it was every year. It was that they would go up as often as she went up to the house of Hashem. So she would be angered. She would anger her. V'tivka lo tochal, and she would cry and she could not eat. So okay, what's going on? So the Malbim explains. Every year, when they would come to the house of Hashem, so Elkanah was he was doing what he was accustomed to do, to bring her a special portion, and her co-wife, like he always did, to give her what he was giving her, and she would then anger her. And this was according to her minhag. So they all had their own minhag, and that's what they would do. And as a result, she would cry, and she would not eat. Rashi, by the way, says on this whole thing, how is she torturing the wife, the girl? How is Penina torturing Chana? So he says Penina would say to Chana, "Oh, you didn't buy clothes for your children? Oh, that's right, you don't have any, do you?" And why did she complain? Why did she do that? In order to have Chana daven. That's what Rashi says. L'shem Shemayim. She was doing L'shem Shemayim because she wanted her to daven. She knew the secret that if I want to have children, it's on the doctor's hands. It's not in anybody's hands. It's not drugs. It's all from Hashem. Either Hashem is going to let you have it or not. So she was thinking, if I get her angry or sad, she's going to cry from the depths of her heart, and she is going to follow. And Hashem cannot resist the tears coming from her heart, and so on and so forth. That was where Penina is coming from. She wasn't really the wicked person that we're making her out to be, that she's getting this, making fun of her co-wife. She, according to Rashi, she's doing it l'shem Shemayim. By the way, the question is, should she do it? The answer is, of course, no. You don't torture somebody like that. So, next line. We are on Chet. Vayomer la Elkanah Isha. So Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Chana, lama tibchi, why are you crying? V'lama lo tochli, and why won't you eat? V'lama yira levavech, and why is your heart sad? Made evil. Hello, anochi tov lach me'asara banim. Surely I am better to you than 10 sons. Why did he pick on 10 sons? Because Penina had 10 sons. You understand? He's saying Penina has 10 sons. I'm better to you than 10 sons. So what's so wrong? What's so bad? Yeah. Why aren't you eating? So the Malbim explains, Vayomer Allah, he explained to her, Sefer Shepam Achat, Rashi Elkanah L'Nachma. And all the times he's going up, I don't know why. This time he decides to do it, but he said, one time Elkanah decided he wanted to comfort his wife. V'yani answers, Re'ei, Rami Men Shlosh Devarim. He saw 3 things. One, Shebachta. He saw she was crying. So therefore he said, Lama Tivki, why are you crying? And he saw that she wasn't eating. And to that he said, why aren't you eating? And also he saw she was angry. And she says, why is your heart bad? Why are you angry? So Amar he said to her, Halo sibat hara'am hazeh. The reason for this complaint is, just lost my place, sorry. Mitzad atochelet hamoshchash al yedei shtuke levanim. That from the side of the hope that and the pull of your barren. Flobatik vadcha, and still you haven't fulfilled. Hashem has not fulfilled your wish. Chen tiskri b'saracha. Therefore, you're remembering all your bitterness. Ma bechach. What's the use? Halo gam im tityashi. Hamehold it. Even if you give up the idea of having children. Halo anochi tovlach. I'm better than 10 sons. A woman isn't obligated on having children. If you're worried about somebody burying you, surely I can do that. So it's not a matter, if you're going to worry about people burying you, don't worry, that's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. That's not the way to comfort somebody personally, but okay. But I don't think it is. No. But that's what he was saying to her. So don't worry about it. I'm good with you. And does he say anything here? I didn't look at the English this time, so I didn't see anything. Yeah, okay. So then, Tet. 9. Vatakam Chana. Chana got up. Achre achla b'shilo. After she ate in Shiloh, v'acha shaton. After drinking. Eli HaKohen Yoshev al Kisei. Eli the Kohen was sitting on the chair. He had a chair, the rabbi's chair. Al mezuzat heichal Hashem, by the pillars of the temple of Hashem. And Rashi says, by the way, it says Eli was sitting there. On that particular day, he happened to be sitting on the big chair. Shenit maneh shofet, because he was appointed as a shofet on Israel. So Eli is now not only is a Kohen, but he's also the shofet, or the Kohen Gadol. Some people say he was appointed the Kohen Gadol. And what it doesn't mean on literally means near the doorpost. So the Malbim says v'takam. So she gets up, after everybody's eaten and drunk. In the Adata, until now it says, Samched Atmal Tefillah Bala, she was relying upon the prayer of her husband, Shahayat Tzaddik, because he was a righteous person. And if you ask a righteous, and by the way, this is also something that happens very, very often, at least in the Jewish world. In the Christian world, I don't know. But people will go to the rabbi and they'll say, Rabbi, please pray for me. And we always like to say the same thing. Hashem, why should I pray for you? You have to pray for yourself. And the response is, Hashem will listen to you. I'm a wicked person. You're a holy man. Right? You're a tzaddik. There is a concept that I can go to a tzaddik if I want, and that's why people go to the Rebbe, the Babachar Rebbe and their own Rebbeim, because it said that a person who is a tzaddik, if they offer a prayer in your behalf, it does carry a lot of weight. It doesn't mean you shouldn't daven on your behalf, but a little booster shot never hurts. So they would go to the tzaddik. She, according to the Malbim, was relying upon her husband who was a tzaddik. So here my husband's davening. He has a connection. He goes to Shul. I don't. If I'm going to daven, I'm going to daven at home for the most part. Fine. But I'm really relying upon him. So, and now, and the Malbim says, and Viata. But now, now that he, the father, Elkanah, has given up hope, because he said to her, forget it, you're not going to have children. I've been davening all these years. Nothing's happening. I'm better than 10 sons. So now she realizes that the prayer is not a prayer anymore. The prayer is just like, let my wife be good. You understand the difference, by the way? If I'm davening, in other words, when my mother got cancer, okay? So what happens? You daven, Hashem, you should give her a refuah shlema. For the nefesh, for the guf. And it's interesting, we say refuah the nefesh, refuah the guf. The healing of the soul, the healing of the body. We're already foregoing the person. We're saying heal the soul first. Because the soul is really what's doing this. So if you can heal the soul, the body can be dragged along with it. But there are times that we know the person's on the other side. And then we pray for their death. We pray for them to be relaxed already. Once we give up, if the person senses that, first of all, the person senses that, it's a done deal unless they're very strong. Or they say, wait, why aren't you falling upon the heavenly doors and saying, you gotta let me live, you gotta fight for me. You're not doing that. And that's the hardest thing. Well, we are miyayesh. We give up. We give up all hope because the doctors told us it's not going to happen. How many times that they came in from hospice to tell me your mother's dying I got tired of it. I was saying, what are you doing? It make me happy already. I know she's dying. Leave me alone. We're all dying. Leave me alone when she's dying. When she dies, she dies. But you don't have to keep bouncing and pounding it. You're gonna, you don't pound. But that's what she felt. She felt her husband gave up. Once she gave up, now I have to do my own. That's when Vatakam Achrea Achale. So not Achale, Ochla. Achla. Okay. She got up after she ate. Ki hayu regilin to pelil be'ed hakravat azvachim. Why? Because that was the time that they were accustomed to pray after they brought the sacrifice in the morning and the afternoon, and then there was no Kohen sitting on the chair. They were only doing the service, except for Shabbatot and Yom Tov, that they would serve themselves. Like it says in Yerushalmi. But now that she got up after that they ate, now Eli happened was already sitting on the chair, because the whole nation went to their homes and they were no longer bringing sacrifices at that time. So she was now alone. She went to Hitbodedut. She was going to daven alone in the house of Hashem to pour out her heart in conversation. By the way, the Malbim is very particular with the words she's picking here. I'm going to be I'll be particular on them. Hitbodedut is when I speak to Hashem without a script. Okay? We all go into that room, we go into the base Medrash, we go into the base Knesset, we have a script, it's called the Siddur. Right? We normally don't leave the script. You have your script in your church. Everybody has a script. We read what the fathers put down, what the rabbis put down, and we trust their words, whether or not we believe them, understand them, we follow them. A funny thing is, for the Roman Catholics, they used to read it all in Latin. Okay, so people don't understand, except for Bill, people don't understand Latin. So there was no excitement in the service because they didn't know what they were saying, but they could read it. Let people hear read Hebrew, but they didn't understand what was going on. So as a result of that, finally, I guess the church decided, let's abandon Latin and go to English. And the old timers were upset, blah, 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 fine. It would be like in the Reform Shul today, where majority of services are, I think, in English. They use very little Hebrew. And again, they lost people on that because people want to hear the old chant, even though they don't understand it. They want that old-time religion, which is why they go to the conservative or the Orthodox, because they want that old-time religion where you're hearing more and more Hebrew. The conservatives are also going more to English, which is again why they end up in Chabad and so on and so forth, or us, because they want that connection. And I don't know why they don't get that in the Reform or Conservative, but okay, that's their business. Maybe if they watch this video, they'll see it. They really should go back to the old thing. But that's what was going on here. So now what she does is she goes scriptless. Like I said, when I go ahead and Bodadut, I don't have a script. I'm talking to God, and I'm complaining, and I'm yelling. I'm doing what I want to God. Okay? Now, that's one thing. And by the way, that's why if you read anything about Bodadut, it's about these people going into the woods and just talking. Like I'm talking to you is how you talk to God. Just that way. Okay? And she went out to pour her heart out in conversation. Not in prayer. Conversation. That's what Sicha means. Umilat Achla, and it says the word eating, is the source of Tosefet Hey. Okay, what's he want to say there? Okay, and also drinking, fine. So that's what she's doing. Now what happens? That's why we had to hear. Okay, Ellie's sitting on a chair because nobody's sacrificing anymore. The day is over. They closed it. People went home, so he can now relax. She now can go into the shul or wherever she's going, and she can now speak her words to Hashem, and nobody's supposed to be around. By the way, that's when you have the best prayer, because you think nobody's hearing you, okay, or you think nobody's watching you. And so what happens? Vihi marat nafesh, and she was bitter of soul, v'titpalel al Hashem uvachotivcha, and she was crying, and so she prayed to Hashem, and she was crying really excessively. Vachotivcha means she was crying a lot. So Malbim explains, Vihi az, when she's going in, then she az hitkabsu arba'a dvarim ozrim el yehiyat tefillah tol ratzon. There were 4 things that helped her prayer be accepted. 1, she atzma hayta marat nafesh, that she herself was bitter of soul. V'Hashem shomet tefillah nishbrei lev, and Hashem listens to those who are broken hearted. If I want to know, in other words, I can go to God all day long, but if I'm not crying about something, if I'm not broken heart, if I'm not hurt by it, why should Hashem listen to me when special listening? Why should I get any special favors? Think about it when you have a child and your child comes to you and says, could I please have blank? And you say, no, okay, fine. And he walks away. As compared to, you see the child really wants this and is really crying for it and working and working and working for it. Your compassion melts on that child. You hold the child and you say, okay, what can I do for you, Tatala? That's all it is. And that's step one. There's Borei Lev. And she davened to Hashem. She'd palel b'kavana shlema al Hashem levado. She davened to Hashem specifically. She said, nothing else is happening. God, nothing else is working. You're the only one who can do this. And again, when we're taking our pills, when we're doing something else, we're saying, Hashem, let this pill work. Fine. But we're not relying upon Hashem. We're saying, I'm taking the pill and I'm driving to you, so I figure if I combine the two of them, it should work. I'm going to the doctor and doing this. No. She said, Hashem, you're the only one that can do this for me. Period. Okay, so then, she cried a lot. Why? And it says, because Share Dim the gates of tears, no lonin alu le'olam, they are never ever locked. Not closed, locked. They're never locked. If we cry out to Hashem with our entire heart, then the gates are always open. Again, Hashem listens to us. Our prayers are accepted. Whether or not they will be fulfilled is a different question. You understand? That's important to note. Whether or not they're going to be answered, I have no idea. But Hashem is listening more than if I just come and I offer a prayer and Baruch Atah Hashem Chamecha Mamoshi Lechem Na'aretz, and I don't even think of the words. Okay, Hashem says Amen. But it's not a real thing there as compared to if I'm saying the words with kavana and I'm really thinking about them. That's why prayer is so. Everybody says prayer is hard. I'm going to go a little over it for this. It's the last minute, so if anybody's watching, great. Listen to my rant. Everybody says prayer hard, but prayer is the most basic thing that we do. We all speak to God countless times of the day. When we're alone, we speak to God. What's hard for people is communal service. That's very difficult. To go to communal service, that I admit is very difficult. That's not natural. That is something I have to work at. I have to make sure I'm there on time, so on and so forth. But when it comes to praying to God, talking to my Creator, talking to my Heavenly Parent, the atheist has that as much as us. And they will talk alone. There's plenty of movies that bear that out. They will talk when they're alone, when nobody's listening, because they say, if you're there, and so on and so forth, whatever they're going to do. But they know instinctively that there's something, that we have a Creator, and they can talk to their Creator. And that's a natural thing. The non-natural thing is, like I said, communal is organized religion and so on and so forth. That's the not natural part. But the natural part is this. And that's why she cries with all her heart saying, Hashem, you're the only one who can do this. And we'll stop here. We're in chapter 1, verse 11.